Hello students, from today onwards we are going to start a new chapter, chapter number 3, Trigonometric Function. This chapter is very important for your coming years of educations, that is in 12th standard as well as in engineering or whatever way you are going, right? So this is a very important chapter. Trigonometric functions. The word, this trigonometry, this word trigonometry is derived from a Greek word trigon, right? Trigon either. Greek word trigon and metron. The meaning of this trigon, right, is in English is triangle. The meaning of this is triangle, and metron means measure. Metron means measure, right? So trigonometry means measure of a triangle. Trigon, this is Greek word, trigon is triangle and meaning of metron is measure. So that is the measure of the sides of a triangle, right, is trigonometry. Now trigonometry can be simply defined as a calculating with triangles involved with the study of lengths, height and angles. In previous class you learned about acute right angle triangle, right? So this is a acute right angle triangle. Suppose this is A, B, C. Then there is a questions to find out the sides of your triangle, angles of the triangles, or in height and distance you find out the distance between two objects, height, right, or many more things, right? So trigonometry and its function have an enormous number of uses in our life. For instance, suppose we say that it is used in geography to measure the distance between two landmarks. Suppose we want to measure distance between Navsari to Surat. Then what is the important measure? Is length from Navsari to Surat. That is, we can measure through trigonometry, right? Because there is no measure from which we can calculate the simple distance. So we have to use trigonometry, right? So it is used in geography to measure the distance between landmarks, and in astronomy also to measure the distance of nearby stars, and also in the satellite navigation system, right? So before going to in the details of trigonometry and its application, so let us start with knowing the trigonometries and its functions, right? So before going this, so now our question is, what is trigonometry? First question, what is trigonometry, right? So trigonometry is a study of the relationship of angles. You learn in 10th class, that is the relationship between angle, length and height, right? It has emerged in the 3rd century BC, involving applications from astronomy to geometric studies. Now it has spread its application into a wider fields in like engineering, physics, right? Surveyors also use trigonometry, architect engineers use also trigonometry, astronaut use trigonometry, and even in the investigation of a crime scene they are using trigonometry, right? So how, what to do, we will discuss in detail later on, right? How trigonometry is useful in crime, राइट। सपोज किसी ने कोई गोली मार दी किसी को, तो कितना डिस्टेंस से मारी, कहां से मारी होगी, गोली का एंगल जो है बॉडी में कहां कौन सा है, वो मेजर करके बता सकते हैं कि ये एंगल से गोली आई है, तो गोली यहाँ से आई है, ऊपर से आई, नीचे से आई, कहाँ से आई है, किस डायरेक्शन से आई है और कितनी स्पीड से आई है, वो हम सब ट्रिग्नोमेट्री के यूज करके बता सकते हैं, राइट? सो अपार्ट फ्रॉम एस्ट्रोलॉजी एंड ज्योमेट्री, geography, trigonometry is applicable in various fields like satellite navigation, for satellite navigation, for in plane or in a ship. कैप्टन को डिसाइड करना पड़ता है कि कौन सी डायरेक्शन में जाना है, क्योंकि सपोज वन बोट इज गोइंग इन सी फ्रॉम पोर्ट ब्लेयर, इंडिया, मद्रास टू पोर्ट ब्लेयर, चेन्नई, नाउ चेन्नई टू पोर्ट ब्लेयर, देन they have to decide the direction of the ship. So for that they are using trigonometry, right? Developing computer music, for developing computer music you have to use trigonometry. Chemistry and number theory, medical imaging, electronics, electrical engineering, civil engineering and architecture, mechanical engineer also oceanography use the trigonometry, right? Seismology also uses trigonometry. Phonetics and image comparison in the game development. So आप जो गेम खेल रहे हैं ना, उसमें भी गेम का डेवलपमेंट करने के लिए भी ट्रिग्नोमेट्री का यूज होता है, राइट? सो नाउ आपको एक सवाल होगा कि ट्रिग्नोमेट्री जो है उसका हमें रियल लाइफ में क्या करना है, क्या काम आती है? आपको हर एक टॉपिक का, हर एक चैप्टर का यही आपको एक क्वेश्चन होता है कि ट्रिग्नोमेट्री है, ये मैथ्स से हमें लाइफ में कहाँ काम आता है? आपने सेट थ्योरी में पढ़ा होगा कि सेट थ्योरी में एक जो एलिमेंट है उसका रिपीटेशन नहीं होता है, नो एलिमेंट इज रिपीटेड. सो व्हाट इज दिस? दिस इज यूज्ड इन आवर होम. आपके घर में कोई दो भाई है और दो बहन है, उसका सेम नेम है क्या? किसी का एक ही घर में किसी का सेम नेम है? नहीं है. तो व्हाट दे आर यूजिंग सेट थ्योरी, because no element is repeated, so no name of the person is repeated, right? otherwise किसका नाम होगा विराट, तो एक विराट को बोला तो तीन विराट हो गया, तो तीनों तीन विराट आ जाएंगे. किसका काम है? बाद में नंबर लेना पड़ेगा, विराट 1, विराट 2, विराट 3. so instead of that they are keeping all different names. so क्या करते हैं? तो हम ट्रिग्नोमेट्री यूज करते हैं. तो सेट थ्योरी यूज करते हैं. तो ट्रिग्नोमेट्री का क्या यूज है हमारी रियल लाइफ में? so it has a very large applications of trigonometry in our life, right? It may be not have been direct application in solving practical issues, but used in the various field. For example, trigonometry is used in developing computer music. As you are familiar that sound travels, you learn in physics that sound travels in the form of waves, and these waves pattern through sine or cosine function, because we are going to learn, and also in this trigonometry we will draw a graph of sine function and cos function. So first I am drawing sine function, sine 0 is 0, so graph of sine function is like this, right? And graph of cos function is like this. So all the frequency of the sound waves is going like this, right? That is sine cos functions. So graph of sine cos functions are like this, right? So for developing computer music they are using this sine and cosine function. So now here is a few applications where trigonometry and its functions are applicable, right? So first, trigonometry to measure height of a building or a mountain. So suppose किसी को हाइट बिल्डिंग का मेजर करना है, सपोज इसमें ही ले लेते, आप यहाँ पे खड़े हो, ये सी पॉइंट है, वहां पे आप खड़े हो, समझ लो, इमेजिन यू आर हियर स्टैंडिंग हियर, और ये जो बिल्डिंग है, राइट, ये बिल्डिंग है, राइट, ये सपोज ए सिटी स्क्वायर अपार्टमेंट है, नवसारी का फेमस सिटी स्क्वायर अपार्टमेंट है. तो आपको यहां से ये सिटी स्क्वायर अपार्टमेंट जो है इसका हाइट फाइंड करना है, कितना हाइट होगा, राइट? सो यू लर्न इन हाइट एंड डिस्टेंस इन 10th standard that you have to measure the, if you want to measure this, then how you can find out this, that is used in standard 10 in chapter height and distance, right? So trigonometry is used to measuring the heights of a building or a mountain, the distance of a building from the viewpoint and the elevation angle, right? So what you are doing there? So distance from building and angle of elevation, that is from here. So if you are here, your eyes is here, then the angle made with the top of the building, right, is called the angle of elevation. So if you know angle of elevation and this distance, then you can find out this using which formula? That is tan formula, right? Suppose this angle is 45 and this distance is 100 meter, right? Then using tan formula, you know how to solve. You learn in 10 standard, that is this is also 100. So height of the building is 100 meters. So we can use trigonometry just like this, right? Now trigonometry in aviation, right? How we use trigonometry in aviation? So we discuss. I am just telling you, not to note down. So just remember everything. So aviation technology has been involved in many applications in the last few years. Okay, so it has taken into account to speed, direction, and distance, as well as have to consider the speed and direction of the wind. Right? So for navigation, aviation, right? कोई प्लेन जा रहा है तो प्लेन में कितना सामने से विंड आएगा, इसकी स्पीड क्या है, राइट? और वो स्पीड को कट करके आगे जाना है तो प्लेन की स्पीड क्या रखनी है. तो ऐसे एविएशन के लिए और डायरेक्शन फाइंड करने के लिए आपको ट्रिग्नोमेट्री यूजफुल होता है, राइट? द विंड प्लेज अ वाइटल रोल, राइट? लिसन, द विंड प्लेज अ वाइटल रोल एंड in when and how a flight will travel. This equation is solved by using trigonometry, right? For example, suppose, for example, as I told, if an aeroplane is traveling at 250 miles per hour and 55 degree of the north to east, 55 degree to north to east, right? And the wind blowing due to south at 19 miles per hour. These calculations will be, suppose I am just telling you, no need to calculate it, right? So this calculation will be solved using the trigonometry and find the third side of the triangle, that is the aircraft in the right direction, right? Now trigonometry in video game. You are playing in video game in this pandemic lockdown period. So have you ever played the game Mario? Did you play game Mario? Okay, fine. Then when you see him to smoothly have to glide over the roadblocks, right? He doesn't really jump straight along the y-axis. He never jump like this on y-axis, right? It is slightly curved path or parabolic path that he takes to tackle the obstacles on his way. So it takes a parabolic path, that is like this. He never jumps like this. So he jumps like this, and in this parabolic path he is moving in that game. Okay. So trigonometry helps Mario to jump over these obstacles. As you know, gambling industry is all about IT and computers, and hence trigonometry is of equal importance for these engineers. So trigonometry is important for IT engineers also, right? Now trigonometry, I told you, is useful in criminal, that is criminology, right? So how it is useful? So trigonometry is even used in the investigation of a crime scene, right? The functions of trigonometries are helpful to calculate a trajectory of a projection and to estimate the causes of a collision in a car accident. Further, it is used to identify how an object falls or what angle the gun is shot, right? As I told you, right? I explained also. Also, trigonometry is useful in marine biology, right? So it is useful often in used by marine biologists for measurement to figure out the depth of the sunlight that affect algae to photosynthesis. Using the trigonometric functions and the mathematical models, marine biologists estimate the size of larger animals like whales and also understand their behavior. For that, they are using trigonometry, right? And you also know trigonometry is useful in navigation, right? Trigonometry is also useful in flight engineering, and trigonometry is useful for physics also, right? So in physics you learn trigonometry, sine theta, cos theta. I think you completed that chapters. So trigonometry is used in physics also, right? For vector, then model of mechanics of waves, right? Or in electromagnetic you have also you have to apply use of trigonometry, right? Oscillation, some of the strength of the fields, and dot and cross products, right? Even in projection of any object you used trigonometry. So trigonometry is very useful, right? Also trigonometry is useful in construction, right? And other uses of trigonometry is to calculus is based on in mathematics. Trigonometry is very useful in calculus, that is differentiation, limit, integration, right? Differential equation, application of integration, right? So in that all chapters you have to use trigonometry, right? Also you can use trigonometry in algebra, right? The fundamental functions of trigonometry that you know, sine and cos, right, are used to describe the sound and light waves that you know, right? So trigonometry is also useful to creation of a map, right, in satellite system, right, designing electrical circuits, right? So we have discussed trigonometry and its importance, as every student of maths is expected to know about the application of this branch of mathematics in daily life. So I think this is enough for you. Also you learned in earlier classes, right? You studied about the side of a triangle, right, as a ratio for acute right angle triangle, right? So in acute right angle triangle you learn this thing. So I am revised that ABC is a right angle triangle, acute right angle triangle, right? So if we say this angle is theta, then this AB is the opposite side of this theta. This is your opposite side. So this is your opposite side. This is adjacent sides, and this is hypotenuse. So I am writing in short only. So this is with respect to this theta, either angle C. This is adjacent side, this is opposite side, and this is hypotenuse. Now you learn in earlier classes, then sine theta is equal to opposite upon hypotenuse, that is opposite is AB upon AC. This you learn, right? Then you learn cos theta. Cos theta is, this is only for a ratio of a sides. We are going to revise the what you learn, right? जो आपने सीखा इसका रिवाइज करा रहा हूं मैं. अभी मैं 11th स्टैंडर्ड में कुछ भी स्टार्ट नहीं किया है, right? अब रिवाइज ही करेंगे. So this is cos theta. Cos theta is adjacent side upon hypotenuse, that is adjacent side is BC upon AC, and from this ratio of these two is tan theta, that is sin theta upon cos theta. You learn this thing, right? So sin theta upon cos theta, that is sin theta is opposite and cos theta is adjacent, and hypotenuse will be cut. If you divide these two, right, then here is opposite upon adjacent, right? That is opposite is AB upon BC. Similarly, if you take a reciprocal of this tan, that is cot theta. Reciprocal of cos theta is sec theta, and reciprocal of sin theta is cosec theta. You learn. So now you have a confusion. So about this sine and cos, you know, in both sine and cos there is a hypotenuse in denominator, but what in numerator? What about numerator? So for that, see, remember one thing, sine is opposite upon hypotenuse, so sine is opposite upon hypotenuse. Then cos is adjacent upon hypotenuse. And tan is opposite upon adjacent, so tan is opposite upon adjacent. So remember this sentence. Make a sentence. If you don't remember, आपको पता नहीं चलता है तो मैथ्स में कुछ भी बना के कुछ भी नया नया आप क्रिएटिव वर्क कर लो. जैसा ये लिख दिया, सो कहा तो ये आपको रिमेम्बर हो, राइट? सो साइन मींस सो, OH means opposite upon hypotenuse, so का CH, cos adjacent hypotenuse, टुआ tan opposite adjacent. So now reciprocal of this, that is hypotenuse upon opposite, is your cosec. Now reciprocal of cos is your secant, that is sec, is hypotenuse upon adjacent, and reciprocal of this, that is cotangent is cotangent, that is cot, is adjacent upon opposite. So this is very easy to remember and you learn about this, right? So remember like this. If you want to learn and learn, आपको जो सीखना है वो एक बेहतरीन तरीके से सीखना है तो आप ऐसा कुछ क्रिएटिव वर्क निकाल दीजिए. आपका खुद का बना लीजिए ना, कि आपको रिमेम्बरिंग नहीं करना पड़ेगा, आपको रट्टा नहीं मारना पड़ेगा, तो आप ऐसा कुछ करके कुछ भी कर सकते हो, राइट? सो व्हाट यू हैव टू रिमेंबर, साइन इज ऑपोजिट अपॉन हाइपोटेनस, सो इंस्टेड ऑफ दैट रिमेंबर दिस, सो का टुआ, sine opposite upon hypotenuse, cos opposite upon adjacent upon hypotenuse, and tan opposite upon adjacent. So you will get your answer, right? So that's it for this today's lecture. We will proceed further for revised work of this trigonometry, how to solve and what you did in earlier classes. Then after that we will continue for 11 standards, that is trigonometric functions, and this is trigonometric ratio, and you learn it for only a acute right angle triangle, and now we are going for all angles, right? That is, we have to define the trigonometric function, so we will see that in next classes.